got accepted to UP and
blood is racing.
UPCAT is tomorrow. I am still scheduled on June 4th.
Found it. Think I'm going insane. And I can't feel the feel I don't wanna feel. I can't feel.
Hey guys, back with me for UPCAT. I have prepared 5 pencils. I also have 2 sharpeners, so and 1 eraser. This is my pencil case. This is what I've been using ever since. And I can't find anything else na of it. So, all good.
I'm gonna be alright, yeah. We're all gonna be okay. Everybody gets by with a little help along the way. With a little help along the way. Think I'm going insane.
I got accepted to UP and I still feel so overwhelmed and in awe that I was actually able to pull this off. And tonight I will be accepting the offer to actually enroll in UP. I don't know, oh my gosh, it still feels so surreal. And gosh. And
With a little help along the way. With a little help along the way.
Hi, hello everyone. Hi, hello. Welcome back to yet again another video, and as you can see, we are back on this magical setup. For today, I will be sharing with you how I passed my UPCAT. So just to give you a brief preview on what this video is going to be all about, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of the study tips and tricks that I did for me to be able to pass not only UPCAT but also some of my college entrance tests. I have been receiving quite a few questions from my friends, other colleagues, other juniors. Ata, do you have some tips on how are we going to prepare or study for our upcoming tests? So yun, today I will be sharing with you guys the things that I did to better prepare myself and equip myself on the things kung paano nga ba, what to do to prepare yourself for your upcoming college entrance exams. And specifically, we will be diving into UPCAT. Basically, I'll be talking more about UPCAT, yung personal experience ko. Take note that everything that I will be sharing in this video, all based on experience lang din talaga. So this video will be divided into 2 parts. First is yung general study tips ko lang talaga, which was actually an extension of my previous video. If you haven't seen that yet, then go ahead and check it out. And then part 2 of this video will be diving more into how to prepare yourself before, during, and after your UPCAT or your college entrance test in general. Without further ado, let's hop into the video. Tip number 1. Start early. So it's better for me, it's really better to start everything as early as you can. So if you're watching this video and you haven't started studying yet, this is your sign to start studying now. Remember, yung test namin is around June, first week of June, and I started to study around April. College entrance test, it has a lot of coverage. It covers math, science, English, subjects talaga, madaming subjects, and within those subjects, marami ring topics that you will need to prepare for. So, I advise that you really need to start early to avoid cramming, because cramming will also lead to stress, and you don't want to be stressed just a few weeks or even just a day before your exam. So, start early. Tip number 2, know the time allotment per subtest. So, that will be announced naman ata. Why do you need to know the time allotment per subtest ba? That will definitely give you the idea already anong techniques yung gagawin mo para you can answer faster and more efficiently. You know, things like that. So, even the smallest detail na you think na hindi mo na need i-prepare, no, you have to prepare for it still. I heard this quote somewhere. The quote goes like this: if you fail to prepare, then you're preparing to fail. Third tip. Tip number 3, visit your test center ahead of time. For UPCAT, you can take naman your test on your specific regions, I believe. My advice is you will visit that venue ahead of time na before the test. Let's say siguro a day or a week before the test. Try to visit the venue na para you will save you a lot of time during the day of your test already. Why? Kasi hindi mo na need na mag-go sa venue very early just to look for your test center. Kasi minsan, that will also add to the stress and you don't want to be stressed talaga on the day of your exam. Tip number 4, build a routine and build a study plan. So what do I mean by that? Let's go dive into that one by one. Number 1, build a routine. So, by build a routine, I mean, hindi kasi pwede na you're going to study on the time lang na you feel like you want to study. Dapat there's like a specific time of the day, planan mo na ahead, tapos yun yung talaga yung ipa-follow mo. Why? Because it builds self-discipline. Don't take the amount of time for granted, saying na, I still have a lot of weeks to prepare, still have a month to prepare. Don't take that for granted. Kasi nga, we are here to avoid cramming because cramming eventually leads to stress. As a crammer myself, a lot, siguro mga 2 to 3 or maximum 4 hours a day to study, because that's what I usually do. But if you want to extend, then that's totally up to you. Or if you want na less lang yung time, then that's totally up to you as well. So build a routine that suits you. Build a routine that is effective for you. Next, build a study plan. So, connection na din sa build a routine, build a study plan. Of course, when you start to study, at first you will really feel overwhelmed because ang daming subjects. And aside from the subjects, aside from the number of subjects, under those subjects, ang daming topics. So that's why it's important for you to build a study plan. For example, okay, on this day, I will study this subject. Under this subject, I will study this topic. I'll be linking down below a copy of my study routine and study plan so that you can also use it as your reference. Moving on to our next tip, work on your weaknesses. So this is a tip that will also help you in building your study plan. For example, mahina ako sa math. Aminado ako dyan. Yun, I'm not very good in math. So that's like the number 1 priority on my study plan. Like in a week, I'll study for 5 days, for example. And on Monday and Tuesday, I'll focus on math. But with varying topics. Kasi nakaka-drain din naman if you'll focus lang on one topic for like a very long period of time. For example, math day 1, Monday, I'll be studying geometry and yung angles. Same lang ba yun? Basta, geometry and another topic. So, yun. I'll focus on those topics kasi doon ako mahina. And then, when I understand the concepts and the formulas and the basic topics under it by myself, then I can slowly work on it na on the coming days. So it's better in your study plan na you prioritize those topics or those subjects kung saan ka medyo nagkakaroon ng difficulty. So find a subject or a specific topic where you're struggling and then work on that first. That way that those easier topics na for you, you can tend to them after you're done with the hard topic. This leads me to my final tip. when you study, go back to the basics. So, kasi usually, there are some topics talaga na they are just recurring. We've learned them already in elementary, and then we learn them again in junior high, and then mas advanced na lang din sa senior high. So, parang ganon, there are some topics that you're already familiar with. Ano yung very basics of a specific subject? Go back to that. Kasi sometimes, the things that come out of the college entrance exams are basically just an application of the basic concepts that we have learned in high school. So, yun yung observation ko. That's why it's very important that we relearn and we review the basic concepts. Kasi tendency is, in all those years that we've been studying, there are really topics na we cannot deny we've already forgotten about. So, let's go back to the things that we forgot about and appreciate it. Wow! So, those are my general tips on how you can prepare for your entrance exams. Let's now dive into what to do before, during, and after your entrance exam. In this case, I will be using my UPCAT experience as an example. So for those who will be taking the UPCAT in these coming months, then maybe these tips will also help you. Let's start what to do before the exam. Tip number 1. Make use of the resources that you have. Everything that we need is basically just one click away. Make use of your available resources. So whether it be your textbooks, old textbooks, online worksheets, YouTube videos, YouTube tutorials that will help you on these topics. Make use of all the resources that you have. There are a lot of YouTube channels na wina-watch ko noon just to, study for tutorials. Madami talaga sa internet. Maybe, here's a tip from me. Kasi in my previous video, I said to do mock tests, diba? Or like answer some worksheets, diba? In connection to that, you can search actually online a specific topic and then just add the word worksheet. Worksheet with answer key. And then may lalabas ng mga worksheets that you can use as practice tasks. If you want, you can also buy some reviewers. One of the resources I used aside from the online reviewers that I accessed is I also used this maroon blue book. This is actually a gift to me way back 9th grade from one scholar to another. Moving on to the next tip, vary your learning materials. So what do I mean by vary your learning materials? I mentioned this earlier in the video na you can't really focus on one topic lang talaga on a day, otherwise it would drain you out. At least for me, if I study one topic or one subject lang talaga for too long in a day, I won't be able to focus on it na. Why? Because parang I'm getting drained. It drains me and it consumes a lot of my energy. Like for example, I keep on solving lang in a day. Parang it consumes a lot of energy from me. So I would say, for example, in a day, I would study one topic for math and one topic for science. So I'll study that on Monday. And then on Tuesday, I'll be studying English and abstract reasoning. One topics per ano din. So, parang ganon, you vary your topics in a day. Third tip, before the exam, make sure to prepare the needed materials. Yung basics lang talaga na need i-bring. From what I can remember, sa lahat ng tests na pinuntahan ko, I brought with me a ball pen, black ball pen, Mongol 2 pencils, eraser, sharpeners, test permit, and my ID, school ID. Never forget your school ID. If there are any other materials that they need you to bring, make sure to prepare that ahead of time. If they give that to you as early as possible, then prepare your materials as early as possible. Again, to avoid cramming. And ito think yung pinaka-late na talaga that you have to prepare your materials is the day before the exam. Do not, please guys, please do not prepare your materials on the day of the exam na. Okay? Make sure to review talaga kung ano yung need i-bring. It's stressful kaya, like on the day of the exam and then you see na, ala, wala na pala akong pencil. So, don't. Just don't. Okay? So, yun. Answer reviewers, materials, learning materials, mock tests, under pressure. Under pressure. Basically, time-bounded. Answer materials, answer review materials na time-bounded. Practice answering under pressure. Why? Because your entrance exam is time-bounded. Sa UPCAT, each subtest, I think you cannot proceed to another subtest if hindi ka pa tapos sa first subtest. As far as I remember. Practice answering under pressure kasi that way you would get the gist of what will happen during the exam na talaga. This is also in connection with my tip earlier that you have to know in advance, if possible, kung ano yung time allotment per subject during your entrance exam. Because that will really help you a lot. Aside from practicing tests under pressure, also try to practice sitting for long hours. During our UPCAT, I think we took the test for 4 hours max, I think. And mind you, we were sitting for 4 hours straight. Also guys, I advise you, if you want lang ha, this is totally optional. Allot a day, like siguro during the last few weeks of your review sessions, allot a day wherein you will have a mock test. Siguro an hour or 2 wherein you will be answering all your learning materials from different subtests that you chose, and then you're going to answer them na time-bounded, na you practice them under pressure and sitting down with no distractions, no breaks at all. Para you will have the idea na kung ano yung like a preview of what will happen during your exam. But then again, that's totally up to you. Let's talk about coverage. So, ano ba yung lalabas sa exam? Yung mga sasabihin ko na coverage here are just based purely on what I have observed na parang recurring topic siya on entrance tests or entrance exams. Just a disclaimer, the topics that I'll be sharing with you guys, hindi lang siya limited doon or hindi lang talaga siya focused doon. So, I suggest that you take note, but you will also expand, and do your own research to whatever subjects that you need to study for. Here's basically a brief overview of the possible topics that might come out. Again, possible topics that might come out of the exam. Okay, let's start with science. For science, yung nanonotice ko, there's madaming biology. For me lang. Or baka yun lang yung na-remember ko kasi dun talaga ako nag-struggle. So, there's biology, chemistry, physics, yung mga basic concepts talaga ng science. Basic fields, yung mga fields of science talaga, yung mga basic concepts under those. And my favorite part during science na subtest is yung experiments. There are type of questions na experiment type siya, which will require a lot of reading comprehension from you. For math naman, yung mga na-mention ko kanina like algebra, geometry, trigo, area, and perimeters, yan, lalabas yan. Area, perimeters, permutations, angles, lalabas. Madaming angle. Ito yung na-notice ko ha, ang daming angles na lalabas. Like, not OA na ang dami-dami, so much na angles. But yan talaga usually yung sa math na exams eh. And meron ding mga work problems. Work problems and word problems. Magkaiba yun ah. For example, person A did this in 5 hours and person B finished this in 12 hours. If they work together, how many hours will they be able to finish this? Yada, yada, yada. Meron ding questions na focused on factoring. Gosh, that's my favorite topic. Factoring is, I swear, my favorite topic. I think sa lahat ng entrance exams ko, yun talaga yung first na sinasolve ko kasi yun yung pinakamadali. And also, just a general tip for when you take math exams, don't focus on a problem for too long. Like, for example, you're stuck on one problem and you notice na you're spending more than a minute of it thinking and understanding it, trying to understand it without a single solution coming to your head. I advise go to the next question. Go to the next. Kasi there are still other problems, there are still other items, mas madali siyang isolve kasi sa item na yun. So focus on those items. This is for math, okay? Focus on those items that you're quite confident na you can really solve, or you really know the formula or the solution to that problem, para hindi ka maka-waste ng time. Again, as I've mentioned, time is our biggest challenge. For reading comprehension naman, there are items talaga na there are stories. There are stories, paragraphs, narratives, excerpts from a text. So, may mga lalabas na ganon. And your challenge is if gaano ba kahaba yung story sa item na yon. Here's a tip. For those items under reading comprehension, my advice for you is to read the question first. Read the question first. Why? Why? Because this will save you a lot of time. I swear, this will save you a lot of time. If you're going to read the question first and identify what it's looking for, then you would be able to save a lot of time in a way that, number one, if the question is asking for like a vocabulary type of context, or how is this word used in this context, so you can just go back to the paragraph in the story wherein nagamit yung word na yun. You don't have to necessarily read everything if yung need sa question is yung vocabulary lang naman. So, that's one. Number two, tsaka mo lang babasahin yung narrative or yung story if the question requires that. If the question requires that. Like, for example, the question asks you, how is the author feeling? What message is the story trying to convey? How the readers would feel? How the author felt while writing that story? If those are the kind of questions, then obviously, you have to really read the story para you get the gist and you can understand kung ano ba yung context ng story na yon. Another tip for you is practice speed reading. So, what do I mean by that? Speed reading in a way that you read fast, that will really save you a lot of time. As I've mentioned again and again, yung tests, they are time-bounded. So, if you are equipped with speed reading skills, then that would be a plus for you, and that will be really advantageous for you when you are taking the test. So those are my tips that you can follow before the exam. So next, what do you do a day before the exam? So ano yung gagawin mo a day before the exam? I only have 2 tips for you. Number 1, do not study anymore. Number 2, take a good rest. And another tip, bonus tip, number 3, very important tip, pray. So prayer works wonders, I tell you. Alright, let us now move on to what to do during the exam. Alright, first tip, wake up early. So, especially sa UPCAT, madami kayong takers. I remember we are there in a one big gym. Dun kami nag-take, kami lahat. And there's like 2 days for the test. Kasi batch 2 ako eh. Sa second day ako nag-take. And yeah, even if sa second day ako nag-take, madami pa din kami, I swear. So yun, be early because being early also prevents stress. And you know, if malilate ka na and it's traffic, you don't want that. You don't want that. So traffic also leads to stress. Tip number 2, stay calm and condition yourself. Condition yourself that, okay, this is the day of the test na, and do not overthink it. I'm telling you, do not overthink it. Kasi, just believe in yourself. Whatever decision we will make, whatever decision we will have, even in college admissions, college entrance tests, all we need to do is to take a leap of faith and believe in ourselves. Do not pressure yourself because you know that you've prepared well enough. And if you haven't, that's okay because you know that you've learned something. And whatever will go out in that test, you know that you'll just do your best. Okay? Really kapit lang and believe in yourself. Read, listen, and follow instructions. That's pretty self-explanatory na. Follow instructions talaga. This is a very important and helpful tip. Do not leave any answer blank. Even if you don't know the answer to that item or to that question, make smart guesses. Like, if you think that this is the closest answer to your answer, make smart guesses and answer. Because chances are, even if you don't know the answer to that specific item, there's still a chance that your guess is actually the correct answer and you wouldn't know that. But it's good that at least you took a guess, diba? Pero na kung right minus wrong. Ako ha, personally, I say na it's better to take that chance of having a correct answer than not trying at all. Woo! Next tip, again, as I've mentioned countless times already in this video, your greatest challenge during the exam is time. Why? Because this test is time-bounded. The test in itself is time-bounded. There are timers sa side namin. Like, you can see talaga kung ilang minutes left na lang. Anyway, they will tell you naman. Like, 30 minutes left, 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left, ganun. But make sure to really study the place ha when you're already in there in the test area. Tendency is, the proctor will no longer announce kung ilang time left. So, don't be too complacent about that. I advise, bring a traditional na watch kasi bawal ang phones and smartwatch during the exam eh. So, bring a traditional watch para you can also track how many minutes left or kung anong time na ba while you're taking the test. Next, bring water, snacks, and candies. Preferably mint candies. Bring snacks, water, and candies. Para if you don't feel like eating, at least you can just, you know, chew on your candy while taking the test. I can remember, I did not take any snacks nung nag-UPCAT ako. Instead, like, I finished 4, 5, or 6 na mint candies and then water. Yung water ko, very full pa siya. Very full pa yung flask ko when I went there. Pauwi na ako, ubos. And of course, last and final and very important tip, again, pray. I took all my luck talaga during the test and I really prayed for weeks, for months even, that if it's for me, it's for me. And if it's for you, it's for you. So, yun lang. Just take a leap of faith and believe in yourself. I also remember that on the day na nag-release ng results, I was so overwhelmed because I couldn't believe my eyes. And yeah, that was a core memory for me actually. I remember like pagising ko. That was like 6 a.m. sa morning. I saw my friend message me na UPCAT results are out. To think na I was really shaking. I was shaking. I was nervous. I didn't know how to feel. I opened my laptop as quick as I could. And you know, when I saw my name there, it was a very fulfilling experience. And all those months that I've prepared and I've prayed for it, I think I felt na it was all so worth it. To those who will be taking their upcoming college entrance exams, college admissions, I wish you all the best. I am sending out all of my luck, best lucks to you guys. I know that you can do it, and I believe in you. So make sure to believe in yourself too. I guess that's it. Padayon. Just keep going and keep growing. See you around!